Welcome to the first episode of Project E550. Guys, this is the newest member of the family. It's a 2014 E550 coupe. It's got the M278 motor in it, which is a twin turbo V8. What I've done to the car so far, I've just had it for a few months now. In my state, they require a front mount license plate. So you can see there on the left, I did one of the mounts that go to the tow hook. Under the bumper there, it pops open, there's a tow hook. And instead of drilling in the bumper, I decided to get one of those front mounts. Also, all this stuff I'm going over with you right now, I'll do individual videos to give you some more details on what the stuff is and where you can get it. This car is I'll just walk around and show it to you a little bit, guys. This car is I guess it's some sort of sport or AMG edition. It's not an AMG, but when you have this edition, what you get is you get the AMG wheels. I'll give you a close-up on this one here. You get the AMG wheels, which are really nice, and you get, on the transmission, you get an M mode. And what that does is that's a manual shift mode. And let me open the car up here, guys. It's got a red leather interior, black on red. And if we take a close look there, you can see the M. A lot of these only had E for economy and S for sport. Oh, let me pop the hood too and show that to you guys. E for economy and S for sport. And the M mode, they all have paddle shifters, but when you're in the M mode in this car, it will not shift out of gear. Whatever gear you put it in, it stays in. Where if you're using the paddle shifters on a car that does not have the M mode, you do not get that. It will ultimately shift for you if you don't shift. So the M mode gives you full control of the transmission in kind of a manual mode. So what I've done to the car so far, it's barely noticeable, but you may see in the front here, it's slightly lower than in the back. And the reason is, so far, I've done wheel spacers on the car, in front and rear, and I'll do a video on that. And I've started lowering the car. I just did the front springs. They were kind of a hassle. So I'll be doing the back springs another weekend when I get time. So that's why there's a slight difference. And I'll do a quick video on that once I do the back springs. I'll share all the info with you guys. But one thing I'll show you right now, just so anybody's curious, you can see the difference between with the springs and without. I think it's a little bit more noticeable on the other side. There may be a tilt on my driveway. You can see close up here, there's probably about an inch gap, maybe less. And then in the back, of course, the gap is a little more, probably 2 inches. So it's my opinion that the H&R lowering springs drop the car about an inch. So the plan with this car, guys, is I'm shooting for 800 horsepower. I'm not trying to make that at the wheels. That would be a little nuts. But I do want to make that at the crank. So that would mean about 640, 650 at the wheels. Right now, I believe the car is rated around 400. At the crank, I think, maybe a little more than that by Mercedes. But actually, it ends up being about 430 from what I can remember. I was looking at all these numbers. I just don't recall them offhand. I should have had them ready to tell you guys. But when I ultimately do a dyno run on the car after all the mods, then we'll talk about the ratings for the car. So the plan is, the motor in this is an M278. There's an AMG version, C63, and some other AMGs that have a similar motor in it. It's called the M157 motor, I believe it is. And basically that motor is pretty much the same motor, same block, but bigger displacement, or similar block. And it's also a twin turbo. And the nice thing about that motor is those turbos will actually go on this car. And that's what limits this car, actually. The biggest limit on this car is the turbos are not able to put out the power and keep up with what that big V8 motor can do. So we're going to get some turbos off an AMG. We're going to throw them on this motor. I'm also going to do 3-inch right from the turbo bridge pipes, which are the pipes that go across right out of the turbo, 3-inch all the way back. Apparently that exhaust from that M157 motor will also mount onto this car with very minor modifications. So the goal is to do that, do the turbos, do the exhaust. It may need a fuel pump also in order to keep up with enough fuel to do all of that. And then put a tune in it and turn up the boost. And I think that's all it's going to take to get us to about 650, 640 at the wheels. It's pretty fun to have a car with this much potential. In fact, the thing's kind of a beast right now, to be honest with you. It's a lot of fun to drive. So let me give you one more shot of the interior. And go ahead and subscribe, guys, because you get to come along for the ride. And ultimately, my plan also, once we get 800 horsepower in this thing, I'm going to get a few friends in it and get some reaction videos. I think that'll be fun too, to really scare the hell out of some people. So here's the interior. Everything's pretty much immaculate. Sorry, it's a little bit dirty. I don't know if you guys can see the dust. I need to vacuum it out too. It's got some leaves in there because it's fall. But I've been driving the car for a few months now, and I really love it, guys. It's a great car, and I'm looking forward to really making some serious power with it. It's got the wood grain, the dark wood grain. So, and oh, one more thing. It's got the panoramic roof on it too, which is really nice. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with the car, guys. It's in immaculate condition. Go ahead and subscribe. Come along for the ride. We're going for 800 horsepower. Take care, guys.